Hi guys, good evening, and welcome back once again to the EdWord. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I will be discussing what I thought of the latest and very good and very unusual new horror movie which dropped in theaters starting tonight, Barbarian. And boy, does this movie live up to its title. Yikes. Before I get into any of that, of course, please be warned, this is a spoiler-filled film review, so if you intend to see Barbarian and you haven't watched it yet and you're going to watch it at some point this weekend, don't keep listening to or watching this video, as I will be discussing big spoilers, plot details, character stuff, all that jazz. That being said, you have been warned. Let's dive right back into it. First and foremost, I have never seen a movie where halfway through it seemingly takes a big swing out of left field and it goes almost in a completely different direction in terms of tone and overall vibe. And what I mean by that is that the film, the first half ends with Bill Skarsgård's death, Pennywise. That's why I wore this shirt, because I knew he was in it. He's killed by some horrific looking naked woman mutant thing or whatever. And this poor girl is left trapped with this thing roaring in her face. And then it cuts to some douche nozzle driving and singing down some California freeway. And then he gets a very unpleasant phone call about how his career's pretty much over because this woman's accused him of sexual misconduct. And there's going to be an investigation and it's going to cost him a lot in litigation. So, and then the movie takes us back to Michigan, where the film takes place in Detroit, Michigan, and it turns out this douchebag is the owner of the house that this woman and the poor guy, Bill Skarsgård, were staying in. And then the third act kicks into gear with a flashback of the mid to late 80s of this creepy looking guy, of course played wonderfully by the awesome and never ceases to be the perfect creep-looking guy, Richard Brake, is this guy who's either a serial killer or a serial kidnapper, and it kidnaps women and holds them in this underground dungeon he's created. And then the movie just finishes off from there, and the film just completely surprises you with these abrupt, not genre changes, but tonal changes. Like, the tone completely changes at least 3 times throughout this film, and it really keeps you on your toes. It was scary. It had its moments that made you go, and it had some awesome gore, some very memorable deaths, creative kills, some likable characters, some not so likable. Really love the homeless guy. I really thought he was going to be a survivor or the savior of the film and save the day and whatnot. But of course, the poor bastard gets ripped apart when he was bragging about how 15 years he's lived there in that camp and the woman's never come and attacked him. And of course, what happens? She bursts through the wall and rips his arm off, while trying to get to our hero. And I gotta say, the movie's title this movie does live up to the title, because it refers to Richard Brake, who was a barbarian for kidnapping and impregnating, raping women who were his captives, and then it led to a cycle of inbreeding on top of inbreeding over and over again, which is how his daughter, if you want to call her that, came to be, as this genetic mutant freak as a result of super inbreeding, which is why she was looked more animal than human. But was thankfully put out of her misery by the final shot of the film when Tess, our leading character, puts her down with a bullet to the forehead. But goddamn, what a movie. It was gory, it was scary, it was extremely surprising, very unique, not at all as I was expecting. I've watched it with a friend of mine, and we were talking about it afterwards, and he said, I thought this twist was going to be there was a cult or a group of people living in the house or living in the basement. And I said, I thought the same thing. I thought with the limited cast that were going to be in this movie that they were all going to be living in the basement of the house as some weird, creepy cult type of thing. That could not have been further from the case at all, or from the truth. But it was an entertaining, scary, very good horror movie with complete, swings out of left field surprises that totally momentarily throw you off, but immediately reel you back in and reminds you what kind of movie you're watching and how all three acts were connected to one another. Just a very uniquely done film that I haven't seen one like this before, and it was just very uniquely well done and very gripping. And I liked it a lot, and I hope if you're watching this that you liked it too, and I'd love to hear what your favorite scene is or what you thought of it as well. So thank you so much for joining me for another fairly enthusiastic film review here on the EdWord. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already for more film reviews like this one. Barbarian is now playing in theaters. If you're a horror movie fan, you're not going to want to miss this one. This one's pretty damn good. So have a great rest of your night. Thanks again for watching. And of course, until next time, what's your favorite scary movie?